understand why it's greater and what's the level of the Hachnosas Orchim, we need to first explain what is the level of the Hakbalas Pnei Shechina. So to be able to explain that, we said, what's the idea that Avraham Avinu was, Hashem was being Mevaker Choyla to Avraham Avinu. So what does it mean that Avraham Avinu was ill? What's the illness that we're talking about? So we brought from the Kisvei Arizal that Choyla is the numerical equivalent of 49, meaning even if a person has attained all the 49 levels of the Chamishim Shari Bina, and he's still lacking the 50th level, and it's not like up to him. He has done everything that he is capable of doing. So he's still sick out of the love and the yearning for wanting to have the 50th level. So, and this is the idea. This concept doesn't make a difference whether or not he was able to reach it on his own, or etc. So now he's going to go on further in that. Vizel, third line on the second page. Vizel gam mashakosvat tzemach tzedek b'shoyish mitzvah tefillah me'inyan ha'ava rabbe, concerning the Tzemach Tzedek was explaining over there the great love. That what's the level of Ava Rabba? The Bechinas Mili B'Shamayim V'im Cholech Chafatzti Ba'aretz. That the level that he says, who is for me in the heavens? And with you I do not desire in the earth. Meaning, all the different levels, even in Shamayim, are insufficient. Like we said now, the 49 levels is insufficient if he doesn't have the 50th level. Not to desire anything besides Hashem. And not even heavens and earth. That heavens and earth doesn't just mean the physical heavens, the physical earth, but it also means the levels. Shamayim, the heavens that's going on the higher level of Gan Eden. The level of Eretz is going on Gan Eden Atachten, and he is not satisfied. It's insufficient for him. All these levels of Gan Eden Atachten, Gan Eden Elyon, he doesn't want. Elam tia ha'ava rak lo yizborach levad. That his love is only to Hashem himself. The Hainulim Husi Vatzmusi Yizborach Mamish, to Hashem's very essence. That's why it says Mili Bashamayim Imchlach Vatzi Boretz. Shamayim Gan Eden Elyon, Oretz Gan Eden Atachten. All this makes no difference. I just want you. Ukefisha Moisif, like the Tzemach Tzedek adds in Sherish Tzatfila, and the Rebbe often quotes this story, and that story he quotes it usually from Sherish Tzatfila, but here we know the context of where the Tzemach Tzedek said it. So the Tzemach Tzedek adds to emphasize this, this was the way the expression was heard from our master and our teacher, the Alter Rebbe, in other words, b'dveikusai, when he was a state of dveikus, Hashem, dveikus, in complete cleaving to Hashem and unity in Hashem. He would say as follows: Ich will ze gar nicht. I do not want anything. Ich will nicht ein Gan Eden. I don't want your Gan Eden. Ich will nicht ein Olam Haba. I don't want your world to come. Ich will mer nicht auf dich allein. I only want you alone. So that's the proof that the Tzemach Tzedek brings from an actual example that is the idea of that pasuk. This cleaving of the Alter Rebbe in a way that who is for me in the heavens, and with you I do not desire. He doesn't desire Gan Eden. He doesn't desire the world to come. That this is all the concept of what we spoke about yesterday. He doesn't want anything that is just almost Hashem. It's a ray, it's a revelation. It's like the Rebbe always emphasizes, Imcha. It's Imcha loichafatzti. If it's only with you means not you yourself. It's something ancillary, auxiliary. He doesn't want that, even if it could be the highest level. Rather, in Hashem's very essence, That's the 50th gate. So he b'bchinas choilas ava. So that is the level that a person is sick with love, because he's sick of the fact that he's missing out on Hashem himself, even though he might have choila, numerical equivalent 49, but he doesn't have the 50th gate. Our third paragraph on the page, it says over there, Samchuni ba'ashishus gomer, support me with this ashishus, whatever it is, the wines, the fruits, however we translate ashishus, because I am sick with love. When a person is suffering from this illness of love, then there has to be the support of ashishus. What is the idea of the support? What's the idea of the help that Hashem gives him by giving him what he's looking for? So Hashem has to reveal himself from a level that's higher even than the 49 gates of Bina, which is the gematria of the word choila. That when you have this revelation, the revelation of the Ein Sof that's higher than the 49 gates, that is the specific medication, the specific healing for this type of love sickness. So this, we're going back to Avram Avinu, that we said that Avram Avinu was visited by Hashem. And why was he visited by Hashem? Because he was sick. So he says the spiritual idea of sickness, like he said in the Il Misal Yoinim, is this sickness out of love. That Avaya appeared to him, Levakir Sachoilam, to visit the sick. In his galus Ein Sof, Shalamayla Mememtes Sharibina. That visit itself was to heal Avram Avinu from his illness. His illness is that he wants Hashem himself. So Hashem came and revealed himself to him. Today, to heal the sickness of love that he was needed Hashem himself. So Hashem granted that to him by appearing to him. That's also where it says that Hashem appeared to him in the heat of the day. So the Chazal want to know what's the significance of emphasizing that Hashem came to Avram Avinu. It says that Hashem took the sun out of its sheath. The simple title, like we have, is because Hashem wanted that Avram shouldn't be troubled by the guests. So therefore, he brought out a scorching sun so that Avram could rest and not have to toil after guests. But in the spiritual sense, taking the sun out of its sheath is because we know that the sun is the idea of healing as well. It says in the pasuk that Shemesh is tzedakah and it heals. Why does it heal? Because in the spiritual sense, even someone that's suffering spiritually, it also is a spiritual healing. It's indicating this 50th level. It indicates the level of the revelation of Arich Ampin. Arich Ampin is higher than the Seder Ishtalshlos. From Arich Ampin, so it's a play on the word Arich, that from Arich Ampin comes down Arucha Urefuah. Arucha is when something scabs over and returns to its normal state. So Arucha and Arich are related, so it means that's about a healing, that from the level of Arich Ampin, it becomes Harefuah L'choilos Av, it becomes the healing for the one that's sick with love. So it's the same idea. Hashem appearing to Avram and bringing the sun out of its sheath is the same concept, and it brings the healing to one that's sick with love. And this idea of the son of tzedakah that brings about the healing for one that is sick with love is similar to the Revelations where it says what's going to be when Mashiach comes. When Mashiach comes, Hashem will take the sun out of its sheath. And tzaddikim misrapim ba, and the tzaddikim will be healed by it. So we see the same concept of the healing properties of the sun, indicating a special thing having to do with Mashiach's times, meaning the revelations of Mashiach. The Chsiv, how do we see that this will heal the tzaddikim? Like it says, "V'zarcha lechem yirish mi shemesh tzedakah u'marpeh," that to you, those that fear my name, in other words, tzaddikim, will shine to you the sun of tzedakah and healing. So that means that the sun is the idea of healing. That it's brought down Medrash, that the Shemesh of Tzedakah, that's going on Mashiach. So Mashiach's times is that revelation that will transcend the 49 gates, that will finally allow and bring about the satiation and the calming and the quenching of the thirst and the love sickness that the tzaddikim feel, because they only have 49 gates and not 50th gates. So we said earlier in the Maimer, before we can understand why Hachnasas Orchim is greater than even greeting the Shechina, we first have to explain what the greeting of the Shechina is. So now that we explained what the greeting of the Shechina is, that's the revelation of the 50th gate for one that's sick with love, because he only has the 49 gates. So therefore, Mezem Muvan, Goydel Miles in Dachnasas Orchim, and this is also understood, the quality of the idea of bringing in guests that's greater than even greeting the Shechina. Though by Avraham Avinu there was the greeting of the Shechina in the most elevated and greatest way, that Avaya appeared to him, to visit the sick. And what was the visiting the sick? To enable him to reach the 50th gate through in Gilu Sharanun. That's a revelation, the 50th gate. To heal the one, to heal his love sickness. Despite that, reaching that which he's been yearning for all of his life, or that which he's been yearning for in his sickness, to have this 50th gate, instead of being satisfied, when he saw that 3 men are standing over him, then he ran towards them, that he left Hashem behind, and he went to greet the guests. So from here we know, the Chazal derive, that it's greater greeting guests than receiving the Shechina, which is, if you even think about it, even in the simple sense, it's an amazing idea. You know, you're holding a mullah talking to Begashmi, so someone's holding a mullah talking to a very important person. He's talking to the Rebbe, and then all of a sudden he sees someone, he goes, runs to him. Here you're talking to Hashem himself, and immediately, you know, Hashem is there with you, spending time with you, and you say, hold on, I need to go bring in these Arabs that are bowing down to the dust on their feet. So what's taka the point? Why is Hachnasas Orchim greater even Kabbalas Pnei Shechina? So the Rebbe says the last line on the page, the point of the explanation this is, the main avodah is doing things in action. Chazal say, page 310. That the medrash is not what's primary. Learning is not what's primary, but action is primary. And just like learning is not the primary thing, it's the action. In a similar vein, that means shazel inyan, the idea of action, is that inyan naili yoser is greater madvekes the mili b'shamayim v'im kol echfatzi ba'aretz, that who is to me in the heavens and with you are not desiring the earth. The comparison is very appropriate, because we know that the idea of medrash, of learning Torah, is about the yichud with the Eibishter. So that's like the dveikis that we're talking about over here, that Avraham Avinu had with Hashem when Hashem appeared to him. And still and all we say, the yichud that you have with the Torah, that's not the main thing. The main thing is the action, it's the mitzvahs. To certain degree, to such degree that a mitzvah that you can't do, that can't be done through others, you have to stop learning to do it. So the Rebbe goes on, like my father walked the Friedrich, the Rebbe brings down Maimer at Tzemach Tzedek and statement of the Tzemach Tzedek. Again, there's a lot of the Tzemach Tzedek in this Maimer because this was said on the Tzemach Tzedek's birthday on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Shekol in Yana Mesiras Nefesh Rabbeinu HaGadol, all matters of the self-sacrifice of the Alter Rebbe, Heim Keloi L'gam Mesiras Nefesh L'natik Es Atzmai Abreißen sich Madvekes Im Cholech Hafatzti. They're insignificant in comparison to this self-sacrifice to tear himself away from this cleaving to Hashem of, with you I do not desire, to devote himself to doing a favor for another Jew, like the story of the Alter Rebbe going to chop wood on Yom Kippur to cook food for a woman that just gave birth. Now, the Alter Rebbe's dveikus was amazing. Now, take it a step further, what that Alter Rebbe's dveikus on Yom Kippur would be like. And still in all, when a Jewish woman needed help, he was there even on Yom Kippur. And similar vein, what the Alter Rebbe heard the cry of a child, and he told the Mittler Rebbe to hear, he has supposed to hear the cry of a child. So this is all about the practical, the Maisa Hoiker. That's a general idea of bringing in guests. But this is an expression that the Rebbe always quotes from the Rambam, that this Achnosas Orchim is something, a law, a statute that Avraham Avinu established, and it's the way of kindness that he acted in, and he gave it over to us in our as an inheritance. Now again, this is what Maimer said in Erev Rosh Hashanah, so the Rebbe connects this with Rosh Hashanah. So the Rebbe says, "No, is dalad v'yeshleimer." We could say possibly Chazal Gam in Yonishal Rosh Hashanah. This is also the idea of Rosh Hashanah. That in Rosh Hashanah, all matters return to their first state. That the chayis of the world that came down for the year 5785 left, and now it comes down the chayis for 5786. Afterwards, all matters become renewed, all the chayis comes renewed and comes down through blowing of the shofar. That's the mitzvah of the day. That's what we're supposed to accomplish on Rosh Hashanah. Of all the mitzvahs, that's what accomplishes this. The idea behind this is, like it's explained in Amar Chassidus, first of all, what's the sound of the shofar? It's not a regular matter of speech, organized intellectually in a way that we understand and comprehend. It's not even an ordinary human voice. So it's not an intelligent speech. It's not speech by logic, but it's not even a human voice. But rather we're blowing in the horn of an animal. What's that indicate? It's to indicate the advantage of action. It's not about intelligence and mind and dveikus and seichel over here. It's not even about what a human being is different than an animal, but rather the animalistic state of it, meaning the action-oriented state, is to emphasize that action is what's the primary to draw on from the highest level. Mikol Mokim, Dafka Ideza, specifically through the blowing of the shofar, Magiyim L'mayla B'yoysa, we reach to the highest, most level, L'chadish L'hamshach Es Kol Yon V'cholu, to renew and to draw down all the different matters for the entire year that needs to be drawn down in Rosh Hashanah. So nobody's putting down the quality of the human being. This means though it is great advantage and quality of the sound and the speech of a person in intellect and understanding and comprehension, until the ultimate understanding and comprehension, that the ultimate grasp, the ultimate connection with Hashem, Might not be literal understanding, but it's a connection with Hashem through the 50th gate, that quenches the thirst of one who is lovesick. So you have this very, very high level. That's not what's going to bring down the new chayes for the year on Rosh Hashanah. Mikol Mokim, Hare Inyan, Gufa Tzarech Lachzer Ulischadish Memekoire B'chayes Mechudash. Even the 50th gate needs to come down again and become renewed from its source in a new chayes. For this sake, you need to reach higher, even more in depth, even deeper than where the 50th gate comes from. Because if you're going to bring down the 50th gate, you need to tap into something else that's beyond it to bring it down. To such a place, you need to reach the place that you cannot reach that place through the voice and speech of a person that speaks intelligently, with understanding and comprehension. Rather, how do you reach this very great depth from which even the 50th gate needs to be renewed from? So that's Nasai de Kol Shofar. That happens through the sound of the shofar b'keren shel behema, with the horn of an animal. This is similar to what I explained before about the advantage of the action, doing an action in this world is greater than the dveikus of mili b'shamayim. Dveikus of mili b'shamayim is like intelligent speech of a person, the human speech of a person, whereas the Ma'aser Poel is taking the most coarsest thing, a horn of an animal, and blowing on it. Last paragraph, and this what we accomplish through the Ma'aser of the blowing of the shofar. It comes down in some shoch, it brings it down throughout the entire year. That now in our simple and our plain Ma'aser throughout the year, that we're mainly about doing things in action. Through that we collect and return and bring in the sparks of holiness that were lost and were far flung the ends of the heavens. Perhaps, I'm not sure, perhaps the machnisim as nitzusei kedusha, maybe that's the idea, a play on the words of achnosas orchim, bringing things into the realm of kedusha. Like it says, it'll be in that day. You talk about shofar gadol. It'll be the blast, and it will be blown. The great shofar of Oivdim Beretz Ashur, and those that are lost in the land of Ashur, and Dochmer Mitzrayim, those are far flung in the land of Mitzrayim, will come. Vishtach v'lavai b'harakodesh b'Shalayim. They'll bow down to Hashem in the holy mountain in Shalayim. V'chein and lanu. So it'll be for us. B'kiyum matfilah, by the fulfillment of what we daven on Rosh Hashanah, that Kabbalah shofar gadol chereseinu, blowing the great shofar for our freedom. And the coming Mashiach Tzidkenu is soon mamish, in the way that we are immediately redeemed.